This baby deer is hopelessly stuck in the mud, and it appears the situation is dire. But then, suddenly, a human comes to its aid. Now pay attention to the way the worker operates the excavator with pinpoint accuracy. It seems this guy and his excavator appear anywhere an animal needs to be rescued from a sticky situation.
Run, baby, run!
Since eating meat is unhealthy, unsustainable, and unnecessary, it's both vital and timely that a standard of compassion be set. Treating any sentient being as inferior and exploiting them for food is speciesist and just plain wrong. Christopher Vane, vegan.
With profound, humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace. Etc.
All nations have strict animal people protection laws. So world leaders, do you and your citizens obey them? Check it out and adjust accordingly. Be vegan. Make peace.
We now invite you to watch the next part of Supreme Master Ching Hai's message entitled, A Seat in the Higher Realm is Secured by Honest Diligence, Master's Grace and God's Mercy, Part 16 of 19, on Between Master and Disciples, given in English on August 17th, 2024.
Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan, is a world-renowned spiritual teacher, humanitarian, and artist. She has been invited to lecture on the Kuan Yin method of meditation throughout the world. We now invite you to view Walk the Way of Love, an introduction to Supreme Master Ching Hai.
We'll search high and low for a little love to bestow on all beings in all corners of existence. Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan.
Supreme Master Ching Hai, as she has affectionately become known, lives a message that walks the way of love. A renowned humanitarian, artist, and spiritual visionary, her love and assistance has extended beyond all cultural and racial boundaries to people around the world. The needy and homeless, institutions of medical research, war veterans, the disadvantaged, the physically and mentally handicapped, refugees, and victims of natural disasters, etc. We witness countless reminders of the compassion, the trademark of this caring lady, and the international foundation that has grown out of her loving example.
Whatever we can share, begin with sharing. And then we will feel a subtle change in ourselves. More love will be pouring into our consciousness, and we will be aware of something. And that is a beginning. We are here to learn to grow, as well as to learn to use our power, our limitless power of love and creativity, in order to make a better world wherever we happen to be incarnated. Don't worry, I pray for you, okay, honey?
Not only are human beings the blessed beneficiaries of her kindness, animal people from different species are also the recipients of her boundless benevolence.
You okay, boy? You okay? Yeah, go on, baby. Hey, look at you. Oh, quack. You happy? Quack. Hello, you grow so big now, you. Bon appetito. I love you. Good appetite. This is one of the reasons why we should be vegan. love for all beings, extending love.
Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan, was born in Central Olac, or Vietnam. During her early years, she was often found helping hospital patients, the needy, as well as injured animal people in whichever way she could. As a young adult, she moved to Europe to study and continued there as a translator for the Red Cross. She soon discovered that pain and suffering exist in all corners of the globe, and her search for the remedy to this became the foremost goal in her life. She was happily married at the time to a German doctor, and although it was an extremely difficult decision for both of them, her husband agreed to a separation. She then embarked on what became a 2-year-plus journey in search for spiritual understanding. Finally, in the deepest reaches of the Himalayas in India, she found an enlightened master who imparted to her the Kuan Yin method, a meditation method on the inner heavenly light and sound. After a period of practice, she became fully enlightened. Soon after her return from the Himalayas, at the earnest request of those around her, Supreme Master Ching Hai shared the Kuan Yin method with others, encouraging them to look within to find their own greatness. Through the Kuan Yin method of meditation, they also attained greater fulfillment, happiness, and peace. Before long, invitations arrived from the United States, etc.,
I saw that I was everywhere and in every creature.
Europe,
To see God is very, very simple.
Asia,
All religions tell you be a good person here and find heaven while you can.
Australia,
We are the sons and daughters of God. We are ourselves, the Supreme Master.
Africa,
I will show you how to get direct teaching.
and South America,
And keep the commandments and try to lead a more vegan life.
as well as from important organizations for Supreme Master Ching Hai to give lectures.
The peace and love that we most often talk about and seek, we have within ourselves.
You must look inside and find your own treasure and find the real, lasting happiness. The future is in our hands. So you make it beautiful or you make it worse. It's up to you.
Supreme Master Ching Hai has realized many spontaneous talents that she expresses through artistic paintings and creations, music and poetry, and aesthetic jewelry and clothing designs, expressing the inner and outer beauty. The income generated from her artistic creations has enabled Supreme Master Ching Hai to create an independent source of funding for humanitarian activities in support of her noble mission of assisting God's children in their times of need. Although she does not seek acknowledgement of any kind, Supreme Master Ching Hai has been given awards worldwide by government officials and private organizations on numerous occasions. They include the World Peace Award, the World Spiritual Leadership Award, the Award for Promotion of Human Rights, the World Citizen Humanitarian Award, the Award for Outstanding Public Service to Mankind, the 2006 Goosey Peace Prize, the Los Angeles Music Week Certificate of Commendation, and first place silver for the 27th Annual Telly Awards 2006. In addition, October 25th and February 22nd have been proclaimed as the Supreme Master Ching Hai Day in the United States.
She also brings love around the world where there is hate. She brings hope where there is despair. And she brings understanding where there is misunderstanding. She is the light of a great person, an angel of mercy for all of us.
Agradecer a la Suprema Maestra su liderazgo, agradecerle su optimismo, agradecerle ese don de gente que tiene que la hace tan única y tan especial.
Una impresión muy grata de ver un corazón tan noble, tan dispuesto a servir Ella está sirviendo a todos los seres humanos, está sirviendo al planeta para salvarlo, para rescatarlo. Tiene un corazón noble, pero también un gran liderazgo. Sé que van a suceder las cosas que tienen que suceder.
Supreme Master Ching Hai is one of the truly dedicated people of this era, helping others find and create a beautiful vision of our future. Many great people in history have had a dream, and in her own words, so does Supreme Master Ching Hai.
I dream that all the world will become peaceful. I dream that everyone becomes the Buddha. I dream that all the killing will stop. I dream that all the children will walk in peace and harmony. I dream that all the nations shake hands with each other, protect each other, and help each other. I dream that our beautiful planet will not be destroyed. It takes billions, trillions of years to produce this planet, and it's so beautiful, so wonderful. I dream that it will continue, but in peace, beauty, and love.
Yeah. You gotta take a bath though, okay? You have to. No, you're faking. You're fake sleeping. No, you're not sleepy. You wanna go for a walk? You are
They say the Buddha even did pick people's feet. He never did. No. He even say whoever eats animal people meat is not his disciple. You all know that. But nowadays, people just don't care about that. In the beginning, Buddha allowed it because some people just came in and didn't know anything. So the Buddha said, if you have to eat animal people meat, then you eat this kind of less karma meat, no karma meat, like already dead on the street or died a natural death. Or somebody killed them, but not for you personally. And you don't hear the cry of the animal people when they're killed. But this was just in the beginning, because at that time, the Buddha just lived under the tree, in the tree, like some trees have a hollow, a big tree like a Bodhi tree. The body of that tree could be like a house or bigger even. And there was a hollow in that tree near the root when they separated. During the process of growing, then the Buddha would sit in one of those hollows, like many of the monks before. And now some still do that, or sit in a cave or something. So people came to see the Buddha. They did not understand that they had to be vegan or anything, so they had to go out to the market to buy food, eat, and come back again to see the Buddha later. Buddha didn't have house, didn't have kitchen, nothing. He went out begging. So these newcomers, even monk newcomers, they would come and go and eat. If the Buddha knew they ate animal people meat, they had to, because they didn't know what vegetarian is, they didn't know what vegan is, they didn't know where to buy. They had to eat animal people meat. Then the Buddha had to be lenient and advise them, if you have to, then eat this kind, that kind of meat. Otherwise the karma is too heavy for you. So that's how they did it. But later on, the Buddha said, you've grown up already. You know the truth, the Dharma already. So you don't eat meat anymore. Anyone who eats meat is not my disciple. He's a disciple who belongs to Maya. Yeah. So now you know. And then later, the Buddha had an ashram, a room for him. They call it fragrant room. It was for the Buddha. And there were many other rooms for the monks. But sometimes it was not enough because some other monks came back, elderly monks or visiting monks from other schools, and didn't have enough room. Then even Rahula, son of the Buddha, had to go sleep in the toilet area. That's how the Buddha trained him to be humble, to be accepting in any situation. The son of the Buddha, even. A prince also. He was a prince, of course, and had to go sleep in the toilet area. There's the sutra that recorded all that.
from the Reverend Great Ananda. We have to thank him, of course, for many sutras. And we have to thank many other reverends and the Buddha's protective wings who have recorded all these true stories and true Dharma teachings from the Buddha for us. Many sutras are missing or destroyed. Of course, after the Buddha's nirvana, many of the reverend monks gathered together and collected all the stories and all of Buddha's teachings and put them together in categories accordingly. Yeah. Also, many people wanted to learn, so they came and made copies. But after the Muslim and other invaders came, of course, they killed the monks, destroyed the temples, and burned many of the sutras. But some are still left over because some took them to some other countries or some other areas where it was not invaded. That's how we still have many sutras nowadays to study and to know what the Buddha's teaching was, to follow and to try to be good, noble disciples of the Buddhas. Not all of the whole package of the whole teaching of the Buddha came to one country at that time, because some monks had to run and take whatever they could with them to hide for their own lives and to protect the sutras. So some countries would have a lot more sutras than other countries, and some would have different sutras than other countries. So some are practicing, they call it Mahayana. They follow the teachings of the main sutras that have been left behind. Like from India, then Xuan Zhuang, a great master who went to India and took some home or translated there and took home to China. And then from there it spread to many other countries. But there were some who also went to other different countries because the monks went where they could, or to the country they belonged to before they came to retrieve the sutras from other monks in India, for example. Therefore, whatever they got is what they got, and they practice accordingly. So some of the monk schools follow the first teachings of the Buddha. That's why they call it the original Buddhist teaching, where in the Buddha still allowed some of them to eat animal people meat, 3 kinds of, they call it purified meat. Like I told you before, the animals, people died naturally, nobody killed them. Or if you have to eat some animal people meat, if those animal people are not killed for you, particularly personally, then you can eat it. But of course, they recited a lot of mantras, a lot of purifications that the Buddha taught them, and they knew already in their hearts this is not supposed to be, but they just temporarily did it while they were still learning. In the old times, it was not easy probably to go to buy vegan food. For those who were from other countries, other provinces, or other counties who were not used to the life and the way around the towns or cities where the Buddha was. So they just said to eat whatever they could, to eat whatever the people gave them for temporarily until they settled down and learned with the Buddha or stayed there, and then they would know everything. So that was the original first Buddha allowance. So people, for example, from another country nearby India at that time, like Burma, Cambodia, Thailand, maybe they got those first scriptures and sutras from elder monks from India. They took them home, and they didn't have time to take other sutras, or they were not available over there where they were. So they took whatever they could. In old times, we didn't have airplanes, we didn't have big yachts, we didn't have cars or trucks to carry a lot of things. So imagine just some monks. Maybe they could rent a cow cart or something, but not everywhere have. So they have to consider that they have to carry the sutras by themselves on some road in some area where they have no car, no bus, nothing. Like in the Himalayas, where I went up, in many areas, I just walk all the time. Only one time I went on the bus because we were already near some city and the bus was there. Somebody rented the bus and they let me go with them. That's it. That's the only time in the Himalayas. Of course, later when I went down into a town to go home, there were horse cars and all that. But in the Himalayas where I was walking, nothing. Just walking every day, and my shoes were wet, my feet were swollen. I had only 2 pairs of Punjabi kind of clothes, trousers, of course. and a long tunic that covers your body up to the knees or below the knees. So it's more dignified for the people to wear. Men and women wore that in the old times. But no car, no. And always I wore wet clothes, wet shoes, and had swollen feet, but I was in love with God. I fear nothing. I didn't care about anything. I didn't think much of anything whatsoever. Yeah, I never thought or compare or wanted better, nothing. I didn't have a lot of money either. It had to last, so I couldn't even afford to have anybody to carry luggage, so I just carried my clothes, one pullover. I thought maybe I need it because that's all I had. And another pair of Punjabi pajama-like clothes inside the sleeping bag to protect from the rain. And one I would wear, that's it. I couldn't afford anything more. And a plate to cook chapatis and make tea at the same time. And one little aluminum cup and a spoon I also had to sell. Everything's too heavy when you're going up to the higher area of the Himalayas. And I never had to wear the pullover because I kept walking and I was just always warm, even when I wasn't wet. Somehow God protected me. Wherever it was supposed to be dry, it was dry. Only the feet were wet because they were always walking in a wet area. When the snow melts, it's messy and muddy also, and always wet. But that I could not do anything about. I had only one pair of the sport shoes, and I had no socks afterward. I didn't even have 2 pairs of socks. I had to wash and wear them, but they never dried. Because I never have enough money to rent a place next to the fire, which people provided in the pilgrim area. You have to go quickly to such a house of refuge, because otherwise you'll be left in the dark, on the street, in the jungle, or on the mountain. In the Himalayas, you have nobody you can ask, no neighbors, nothing. Just some simple mud houses they build here and there, far away from each other, for the pilgrims in case they need them. And all the pilgrims have money somehow, they pay, and I just stood behind them and put my socks in the air behind the group of people who stood, not right in front of the fire. But I never felt bad or cold or anything, and if they were dry, I would wear them. If they were wet, I would wear them, because the next morning you have to leave anyway. You can't stay in that house alone. You're not allowed to either. You go and the other group will come. I didn't know much about anything. If people went, I just went. Sometimes I had to walk alone because they walked a different way and they walked so fast. And I'm alone with just a stick, and the sleeping bag would get heavier and heavier because the rain soaked into it. Also, the road was difficult and I was going upward. But I was happy. I did not think too much about anything.
Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan, is a world-renowned spiritual teacher, humanitarian, and artist. To learn more about her compassionate life and teachings, please visit suprememastertv.com/master.
Vegan, 'cause we are noble. We eat noble food.
The most powerful daily prayer for any time and before meditation, which is the order from God, and Supreme Master Ching Hai shares with us by His blessed grace.
We humbly worship, praise, thank, obey, and love God Almighty, the Most High, the greatest, for world vegan, world peace, and our soul liberation. We thank, love, praise the only Son of God, who is the ultimate Master for our salvation. We follow the teaching of all the saints and sages. We thank, love, and praise them, who are the representatives of God for our spiritual elevation.
devoted viewers, we thank you for your company for today's episode entitled A Seat in the Higher Realm is Secured by Honest Diligence, Master's Grace, and God's Mercy, Part 16 of 19, on Between Master and Disciples. Coming up next is Open the Door of Wisdom, Part 1 of 12, on Words of Wisdom, right after noteworthy news. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television for more constructive programming.
Being vegan, having peace, doing good deeds, life is a feast.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/BMD.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/BMD.
Also, be sure to follow us on our socials: YouTube, Facebook, Getter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Nico Nico, Pinterest, Reddit, Substack, Telegram, Threads, TikTok, Truth Social, Tumblr, VK, and X, previously known as Twitter, in multiple languages by searching Supreme Master TV.